Hi. It's
Sup, dog?
us. We're back again. I know. You weren't expecting it, but we're here. Welcome guys for session 4, chapter 4 of volume 1 of All We've Lost, my D&D5e homebrew campaign. I did make a little change. I made a little change to how advantages work. Because you guys are a little fucking crazy. Now my players have like 20 fucking advantages. So advantages will now be 200 bits per player, 600 bits for the entire party. And each sub gives a player an advantage as well. So we upped the price a little bit to make it a little more worthwhile. So yeah, let's introduce our players. Jay, go ahead.
Howdy, my name is Jay. I play Eilif Sanse. I'm a fighter. I like to fight things. I'm also a mailman. And I'm an Aasimar. I'm just vibing, hanging out. That's it. That's all I got.
Mournian.
Well, hello, my name is Mournian. You can find me here every Saturday morning for the most part. Also doing a Penny Dreadful thing on the Bleak season every next Friday, and then 2 Fridays after that, little mini series. Apart from that, you can find me in pretty much anybody here's chat being a pain in the butt.
Joel.
It's your boy Nick. Haven't brushed a spine in a while. Kinda sad about it.
Bones.
Hi, it's me, Bones. You know who I am. And you know what you did. And I play Oleyna, your favorite con artist, courtesan. Here to be as conniving as possible. Thank you.
And hi, I'm Myriad. Or Miri, whatever you want to call me is fine. Don't call me Myriad_X, that's my government name. I stream here on this channel, normally Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then the occasional other day when I'm not busy terrorizing other people on their channels for TTRPG games. And this is my game, so hello, welcome, hi. Does anyone want to do a recap?
I've done the last 2 recaps.
I'll do the recap.
Okay.
We fought 2 glass things, which didn't have spines, in a mirror dimension thing that we traveled to. And on the pillar in the middle, there was a book blocked by some magic-y stuff, it looked like. Neck took it, and they walked out the exact way they came in. Oleyna T-posed very slowly and perfectly. And then we traveled back to town. Oleyna had a Wilden dream, which made her cry. Then Moss talked to the Kenku again to finally learn their name. Because, you know, whenever we meet NPCs, we ask them the second time. Eilif collects a package. Who's to say, brother? And then we joined up the caravan.
I think that's the basic gist of it. So last time the party was venturing in a temple called the Shore of Remnants. They found some sort of book. Unable to unlock the book or see what is inside, they decided the best course of action was to see if anyone in Dunbreak, which is where they're heading, is able to open this book. Oleyna had some sort of dream where this mysterious entity that has been sort of haunting, stalking, watching her for years and years and years, finally made contact. And the party leveled up as well. So you'll notice some new things on the overlay. We have some special little things. You'll see that Oleyna is now multi-classed. So yeah, we are starting off the session with you guys having left Dunbrig. Now, I will ask if anyone wants to have any sort of RP with each other during this travel. You will have been traveling for about 5 days before you end up stopping in a town. So any sort of RP that you guys want to have done, or no?
I think Oleyna would try and get to know Eilif better. I think mostly a lot of tittering about her.
Okay. Eilif, how does Eilif respond to this?
Tittering.
She'll just she'll be a little apprehensive at first, if only because they don't really seem the type to talk to me, and it's kind of weird. They don't really enjoy it all that much.
No.
But they're just they go along with it. They'll like listen and respond quite like flourished with like flourished language without really saying anything.
I think Oleyna would want, like, kind of secretly wants to be your friend, and not just your employer at the moment.
And not because Oleyna wants any information from Eilif at all.
No.
How could that possibly? That's silly.
That'd be crazy. This is a genuine
Friend.
person.
Okay,
We're
anyone
buddies.
else? All
Not
right.
really.
So the party travels for 5 days along the road nestled between the Summermoor Hills and the Violet Wood. An unseasonable cold has settled and the caravan has been subject to torrents of rain throughout their 5-day journey. Around afternoon on the 5th day, against the edge of the forest, they see the crest of a settlement on the horizon. It is Moxie who turns to the group and lets you all know that you all will be stopping in Whitewood for a day or two to resupply before the final push to Dunbrig. As the party draws closer to the town, it's obvious the name Whitewood is derived from the ancient pale-bark trees that stand sentinel at the town's outskirts. As the caravan enters the town, you see winding streets that follow natural contours of the land, cobblestone pathways meander between buildings. Most of the buildings in Whitewood are constructed from pale, weathered wood and whitewashed brick, a stark contrast to the vibrantly colored buildings in Comdov. To preserve the ancient trees that give the town its name, some residences and shops are built on stilts, connected by narrow, intricately carved bridges. The caravan comes to a stop at an inn, the sign hanging off the building denoting it as the Whispering Hollow Inn. A younger boy sort of comes out from the stables that are attached to the inn and begins to help untack the horses and sort of direct where to put the wagons for the stay. What would you all like to do? I know that we are sort of going to be focusing on Eilif right now. So Eilif, I think after sort of a long journey, you'd probably want to sort of head into the tavern to get situated.
Definitely. I just I'll like take my little backpack and head inside.
Okay. Eilif, as you head inside, I'd imagine that you might have been through Whitewood before. Your job sort of takes you all over the place. You've been to many places in the country, and Whitewood is no exception to that, especially given its proximity to Dunbrig and sort of where it's situated between Dunbrig, the capital, and Turgarin, which is basically one of the biggest hubs for merchants. As you walk in, you know that Whitewood is sort of the home base for a opposite mercenary guild from you, which is the Circle of Brass.
Okay.
Is there any sort of precaution or anything that you would want to take? You know that you're not going to get attacked or anything. You're just traveling. They don't typically accost traveling mercenaries from other bands. But you do know members of the Circle of Brass.
Yeah. I'll look around to see if I recognize any of them. Very actively covering the like tattoos on my body. Just Actually, I think the one that matters is covered up, but I'll like make sure to cover up a little more.
Could you roll me a perception check?
Yeah, for sure. What is my plus to that? Not great is the answer. That is going to be a 16?
Okay.
16.
So let me actually pull for this.
Let me get my other dice.
Okay. So it seems as you're looking around, someone noticed you before you noticed them. A tall elf with pale blue eyes that contrast with his dark skin saunters up to you, slowly. Eilif, darling, what brings you around to my neck of the woods? This is Elris' sage spell.
Yeah, I'll Elris, and I'll tuck my little bag a little bit, my bag of coins deeper into my cloak. How are you?
Oh, I'm actually so much better now that you're here. I didn't expect to see you. What brings you here? You don't usually come poking your nose around these parts.
Just traveling, not looking for trouble at all. Please, thank you.
He sort of smiles a little bit. There's a part of him that knows that you misread the situation every single time he talks to you. And he leans in a little bit closer. Well, how about we share a drink while you're here?
I don't know a better way to say this, but no.
Eilif, how you wound me. What's a drink among friends?
Like 90% sure you're gonna poison me, but you know.
I would never do that. That's ridiculous.
You and I know you.
I mean, you could know me better if you'd like.
I'm alright. That's how you end up with a knife in your stomach.
I mean, that's not quite what I was thinking about inserting into you, but... it's
Alright.
fine. If you want to play this cat and mouse game, that's fine.
I just don't want to die. Sure, I'll pay for the drinks if you, stay far away from my left side.
He kind of like makes a note of like he's trying to figure out what it is about your left side that you don't want him to be around. And then a pleased smile sort of works onto his face. It seems that just pestering you enough has finally gotten him what he wants, and he's satisfied with that. So he will lead you to an empty table, a smaller table in the rather busy inn, and kind of just sit there and try to chat you up. How responsive are you to like
0%.
Nothing. Oh yeah, so
he's
talking about like, oh yes, on this last mission I went on, it was quite dreadful, and he's just prattling on and on and on. And I imagine you're retaining none of that.
Yeah, just just waiting for my drink to be done so I can go, all right, I gotta go to bed.
As he is prattling on and on and on, his eyes drift away from you for a second, as though he's looking past you. And he makes eye contact with someone. And he stops short in his sentence and abruptly gets up from the table. Oh, Eilif, darling, I am terribly sorry to be cutting this short. I'm afraid business calls, as it is wont to do. And he'll leave some coin on the table and grab your hand rather forcefully and press a kiss to it.
Okay. If I'll like look back at where he was looking. Is it Carsius?
Yes.
Okay.
There, yep. You will see. Let me make sure of her name.
Carsis?
Yes,
do not
it is
pronounce it.
Carsis. Yes, Carsis. You will see another member of the Circle of Brass that you are familiar with, a half-elven woman. And she seems to be standing near the entrance of the tavern. And as Elris makes his way towards her, she looks at you, she recognizes you, and then she gives you a sly little wave before turning away with Elris and walking out of the tavern.
Okay. I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'll just like nod, and I'm gonna pocket the money that he had. I just get satisfaction from knowing that I paid for it.
And then you got paid for it.
Yeah. It's like Venmoing me.
You did. He Venmo'd you.
He Venmo'd me. But then I'll go up to like the bar and or the inn, I guess, and just like
it's a tavern and an inn. So the bottom is a tavern, the top is an inn.
Okay, I'll get like a room.
So it's going to be 2 silver pieces for the night. Just make sure to mark that off.
I will pay for everyone's room.
Okay. So then I imagine everyone is going to want their own room. So 8 silver pieces.
Okay, done. I just throw it on the table. I'll use the money that he used to pay for the drinks.
Yeah.
Let me mark it off. And then
the barkeep behind the tavern, the bar she's a rather pretty young woman. You imagine she's probably like the owner's daughter who is sort of watching house tonight.
Okay. Do I see any brass on her? Any?
No. This isn't. Give me a history check.
Okay. Where's my history? Also, not great. I need to get new dice. Maybe a 14. It's not great.
It's not bad. It's not bad either. So you would know that the Ring of Ash, the mercenary guild that you are a part of, operates a little bit differently from other mercenary guilds, such as the Circle of Brass or the Shielded Seekers, which are based up in Mornstead. The Circle of Brass is a little more sparse throughout the country, whereas the Ring of Ash tends to, like, their home base is in Comdov. The Flaming Goblet is their home base. The Circle of Brass, as someone who's not a member and only knows them through like various other mercenaries you've met, you're unsure of where their home base is, but you highly doubt it's this tavern.
Okay.
And you don't really know if it's in Whitewood either.
Okay. Then I'll just ask the girl. I'll just do the whole, I believe 10 silver pieces is gold. So I'll just throw a gold on the table.
Okay.
Did I frequent he?
Oh. Elris. Yeah, I would say he's in at least once a week or so. Sometimes gone for long periods of time, but she looks at you, kind of gauging who and what you are. He seems to be gone for long periods of time when, you know, business calls. I'm assuming. I don't really have much to do with that. My father would kill me.
Fair. All right. Well, I suppose would you mind telling me if they talk to anyone in particular?
She looks a little bit. She kind of leans on the bar. What's in it for me?
I'll hold up another gold.
she will take the gold. Sure. What's your name?
I'll just give her my real name. Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah. Name's Sanse. Eilif. Sorry.
Eilif Sanse. Okay.
Mm.
And is there anyone particular that you're looking to see if they talk to?
Anyone wearing... I'll show her that I'm wearing, like, the green, like, sash, and anyone with one of these, but red.
She thinks. She's like, not sure if we've had anyone come in like that before. Not recently. Okay, I can do that.
Mm-hmm. And if you think that anyone else is, interesting, then pass that along to me, too.
There's like a little bit of like giddiness in her. She doesn't realize the implications of what you're actually asking her to do, but you're someone new, you're someone sort of intriguing for her, and you're asking her to do something that she deems like very sneaky and fun. And so she's a little like, she's excited about it. She is young, she's probably barely out of her teens, so.
Okay.
But yeah, she will nod. She'll take the gold, and she'll go back to wiping the bar down, this time with a little bit more of a keen look in her eye as she's glancing around the bar.
Okay. I'll head up to my room. Can I like leave the keys on the on the bar and tell her to give them to the party?
Yep.
When they come in? Yeah. And then I'll head up to my room.
Okay. Eilif, you do know that you have sort of the last couple of months, actually, you've acquired quite a bit of coin, and the heaviness of your coin purse is starting to worry you. You don't like traveling around with this much coin.
Yeah.
What would you like to do about that?
Yeah. I will kind of put on like a coat, make sure that it's secure, and take about 1/3 of what I have and put it into a little pouch and see if there's a bank around here to drop it off at.
Yep, you would know that the National Bank, the bank system throughout Tyrfian, every major settlement has one. So you're able to find the bank. It is going to be located in the Moonlit Bazaar, which is sort of the main market area for the town. But it's quite easy to navigate to, and you seem to have no problem with it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll deposit my money because it's around that time.
So as you go into the bank, there is a little bit of a line, and as you're waiting, the tellers seem to be making quick work of dwindling down the line until it is your turn. And as you go up, the teller she's a bubbly girl. How may I help you today, miss?
Hi. Yeah, I have to deposit some money into an account.
Okay. What is your first and last name for the account?
I probably put it under my other name, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Fuck. Yeah. I'll,
she'll notice your hesitance, and she'll sort of slide over a notepad. If you would prefer to write it down, that is okay.
Yeah, I'll write it down. I'll write down my whole name.
Mm-hmm.
And then the account it's supposed to go into. Okay.
She will look at the name, and look at you, and look back down at the name. Right then. So there's a tiny little earpiece that is hooked onto her ear. She will gently tap it, and you can feel the sort of surge of arcane energy as she casts some sort of spell. And she's speaking, she's relaying the information over the earpiece to whoever is on the other line. Yes. Mm-hmm. And is this going to be a withdrawal or a deposit?
Deposit.
Yes, a deposit. Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. I will let her know. Thank you. I am so sorry. There seems to be a problem with your account. It should only take a couple of minutes. We're going to get it sorted out if that is okay.
Yeah, as long as it'll get sorted, it's fine, I suppose.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry about this. We usually don't encounter these sorts of problems. If you could just take a step over there and wait, we will get back to you as soon as possible.
I'm just gonna go, fucking thanks. And I'll go sit at whatever chair they have, just waiting at the bank.
So, as Eilif encounters a terrible, terrible curse, which is having to deal with a bank, what is the rest of the party doing?
Oleyna's at the bar of that tavern.
I'd sit next at the bar too.
Moss would like to attempt to play some music and see if he can maybe make some money, maybe eavesdrops on some conversations, anything.
Okay. So you are in the Whispering Hollow in Oleyna. What are you doing at the bar? Are you trying to chat people up, or?
Yeah, I think she's kind of trying to get the feel of everybody in this village, in this town. She's a little. I think she's perturbed that there's no like immediate, obvious like brothel for her to stay in for free. So she's just like, in her feels about that, amongst other things that are happening inside of her head. And she's sort of. I think she would. As soon as she sits up at the bar, she's going to order wine or mead, whichever one they have available. And,
would you like to ask about any sort of establishment?
Yeah, I think she would. I think she would ask the bartender. There's no particular, place for working women here, is there?
Well, I'm a working woman. I'm working right now.
I meant the kind of work you do on your back, dear.
She's like trying to work it out in her head.
Is there a brothel?
Oh, yeah, we have one. It's down the alleyway about 3 streets over. It's called the Maiden's Room.
Do you know what kind of establishment it is? High class?
Oh, I've heard bad things about it. A lot of travelers and workers sort of go there. It's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. My dad always told me not to go there, so I.
What sort of bad things?
I think that it's. Oh no. I don't think I'm supposed to be talking about these things. So she like whispers even more. She's like, I think that they do some weird stuff there. I don't think they treat the people there very kindly.
As in the women working? Interesting. Well, I suppose I'll stay here for tonight. I guess that's fine.
your friend already paid for your rooms. Here you go. And she'll slide a key over to you.
Excellent. Next question. You don't happen to know the name of the madam that runs the Maiden Room, do you?
I think she's called Miss Withrithian? Withrithian?
Withrithian?
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't really come in here. She normally stays in the Maiden's Room. So I haven't had a lot of contact with her before. Sorry, I'm working on being better at like gathering information. Someone before came in and was like, "Hey, can you gather information for me?" So I'm really working hard to try to Is there a way to do that more accurately?
Can I give you a tip, dear?
Yeah.
I think that you're doing a fantastic job, and I will tell you. And she's gonna lean in.
Mhm.
The more you listen, the more you will know. And here's a piece of advice. Nothing in this world is free. And she'll slide a coin over to the girl for her information. Just a single gold coin.
She's taking both of those pieces of advice that you did, the one that you didn't say out loud, as well as the one you did, and she will quietly nod and take the coin and sort of tuck it into one of her apron pockets, and nod, and then go back to very quietly, like, observing everything going on.
And yeah, Oleyna will kind of give her a little wink and lean back. And if Neck is sitting next to her, how would you like to perhaps aid me in something?
Sure. Got nothing better to do right now.
I know you don't really go into brothels, but think of this as a moral dilemma. I don't quite take kindly to madams that don't treat their girls right. I would like to see about this madam at the maiden's room.
Nick is having like an internal debate. He's like, law, brothel.
I mean, if these girls are being harmed, I would hate to see them, left to be abused.
It's like, I'll go, but I won't step foot inside of a brothel.
This is really impeding on our moral dilemma, but that's fine. Some backup with a big sword will help at least.
Puts away the sword, and he'll adjust his weaponry so his big axe is on his hip instead of his sword.
It's a figure of speech, dear, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
And sort of, she'll take this and she'll deal with this brothel, I think. Or at least we'll go see to the maiden's room, maybe in the evening after everybody's sort of settled.
Okay. Moss, you mentioned two things that you wanted to do, both sort of gather information as well as perhaps perform. How would you like to go about doing that?
If there is somewhere where there's already an entertainer or an empty spot where it looks like people maybe sit and play, or
there seems to be like a clearing sort of at the corner of the room where you imagine a stage would maybe have sat, but they probably just didn't accommodate that. But there is sort of an empty corner of the room where you imagine most of the time the entertainment would perform.
Okay. He'll sit over there. He'll put down his pretty new hat on the stool beside him, and he will just kind of begin playing and see whose eye he draws, or if he draws any eyes.
Okay. Performance check, please.
14.
Okay. What sort of song do you play?
What is kind of the mood of the place? Is it kind of like a dive bar? Is it like, are there people dancing?
So it's a bit of a nicer inn. It's from what you can tell, it's the popular establishment. It is the establishment of the town. So you'll notice there seems to be a good accumulation of both people who are traveling, like you, and sort of stopping in town, as well as maybe the regulars of the town. It seems to be a bit of it's more of a middle class sort of establishment. It's definitely not super fancy. It's not like the ladies' embrace, it's not that level of fancy, but it's definitely not any sort of dive bar. It's comfortable, it's warm, it's cozy. So it seems to draw that kind of crowd in. There are a couple of people sort of milling about. They're not sitting. They are kind of like standing with their drinks and chatting and everything, as well as people sitting down.
I think Moss would start with a kind of somber, slower piece, and then maybe build to something a little more energetic near the end, just to kind of see if it gets people moving or if he just needs to kind of keep the mood low, I guess.
So what you do know is it has been quite rainy the last couple of days, and as you start with the somber music, it sort of is emphasized by the light pitter-patter of the rain outside. And as the music starts to build, you see people start to sway, you see more people start to tap their feet. A man offers another man his hand, and they begin to sort of dance as the tune turns a little bit more jaunty. And then more people sort of start to join in. Even the little bartender behind the bar, she's kind of like happily kind of dancing around as she's like pouring drinks by the end of the song. And I need to ask you, how similar does your music sound to your mother's?
Moss takes a lot of inspiration from his mother's music.
Mm-hmm.
He does try to add his own flair, but at the base of it, if you were to listen to the two side by side, you would probably think they were written by the same person.
There is a person sort of sitting at one of the corner tables. Their foot's tapping, and they seem to be lost in thought as they're listening to your music. Almost like sort of like a nostalgic look on their face as they listen. And your song comes to a close, and you will get 4 gold pieces, 6 silver, and 3 copper pieces.
Thank you. Once Moss's song finishes, he'll kind of give a little bow, and he would head over.
Plus.
And he would head over to sit at that table and kind of have a conversation with that individual.
They appear to be a little bit older. Perhaps they kind of are dressed rather kind of like a bard themselves. Excuse me. They seem to be maybe some sort of, you're thinking maybe a earth genasi of some sort. Their skin is sort of that muddy brown. It looks like it's almost like caked and crackling, like mud that has begun to dry wood. Their eyes are rich green, and they sort of regard you with a nod and a sort of a raise of their drink as you sit down.
You seem to be enjoying the music.
Yeah. He like scratches his face. Sorry, it just seemed a little bit familiar to me.
Familiar?
Like I've heard it before. Was it an original piece?
I took some inspiration from my mother.
And who was your mother?
Willow.
Netasha.
Yes. Did you know her?
We ran in the same circles many years ago. Before she... Well, before the popularity got to her.
Got to her?
Well, yes, you would know your mother was quite famous around, well, the bod circuit.
Yes, however, typically when someone says that the fame got to them, it means they changed.
Well, she did. I mean, it's a little hard to not let that sort of attention change you in some way, no?
I guess I'd hope not.
Well, we all, myself, there's a bunch of us really. We used to all travel together in a little caravan of sorts.
Hmm.
Many years ago. This was decades.
Whence do you remember the last time you saw her?
A couple years ago, probably.
Hmm.
I had wanted to go see one of her shows.
It will be difficult now.
I've heard.
If you hear anything, try to find a way to let me know. I've been searching for her for quite some time.
He looks like he wants to say something to you. And he's looking at you, and you're the spitting image of, like, your mother. And you look sad to him. You look downtrodden and heartbroken. And he looks like he wants to say something to you, but it's almost like he doesn't want to hurt you in any way. You're a stranger to him, but you still have a connection with him as well. And he wants to say something, but he doesn't want this to, like, hurt you in any way.
It all happened quite suddenly. You, and forgive me, you seem like you have something on the tip of your tongue.
You know, we were all quite poor for a very long time. Traveling around as a bard normally doesn't pay you very much. Still now, I barely make enough to meet ends meet. And then all of a sudden, your mother was famous. Everyone knew her name, everyone wanted to see her perform, everyone was clawing at her feet, trying to get her attention. There was a lot of resentment towards that. And I'm saddened that I let that resentment get to me as well, and I never got to speak to her again before she disappeared.
Well, disappearing's not dying, I hope, so maybe one day you'll get the chance again.
He leans back in his seat, and nods before flipping you a silver piece. You imagine this is probably the only, like, sort of, he probably doesn't have any gold or anything on him, but he flips you a silver piece. Here. In whatever way it'll aid you.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
In whatever way it'll aid you.
What's your name, good sir?
He looks hesitant to say Clay.
Clay, it's a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully I'll find my mother and can tell her that you would like to see her perform.
Mournian, if you want to give me a history check.
History. I have history. It's gonna go great, guys. Don't worry. 12. Sorry, I can't read.
Do you want to use a advantage or anything on that?
You
Or-
know what? Why not? Sure.
everyone did get 3 advantages from.
You know what?
add.
Good job. 19.
Okay. You remember your mother used to. She always used to regale you with like these tales and these fairy tales and these stories that you knew in your heart of hearts was sort of made up. And she also used to tell you stories of her past and of her friends and how dear they were to her and how she missed them. Before you were born, before she probably even met your father, and how she used to travel around the lands and perform. You have a feeling that Clay was one of them.
It was a pleasure to meet you. I, for some reason, feel like I already knew you. She did speak of tales and things which seemed like she enjoyed it, so that's the important part.
He'll nod and sort of smile sadly. Be well, son.
Can I attempt to reverse pickpocket him?
Yes.
I want to put 5 gold in his pocket while he's not paying attention.
Okay. Reverse pickpocket.
Sleight of hand?
Yep.
13.
Yep. He goes to take a sip of his drink. His attention sort of goes to the another kind of maybe a rather younger bard who kind of goes to take your place, plucking a little poorly at the lute in their hands. He just shakes his head and goes, "Pa." And as he kind of shakes his head and sort of is judging this young bard, you manage to slip 5 gold pieces into his coat pocket on your way out. Back at the bank. I'm sorry, it's just a couple of more moments, please. It shouldn't take that much longer. There just seems to be an issue with the number you gave us. Well, it'll be taken care of just soon, okay? I'm so sorry about this. Please, feel free to have a complimentary coffee on us. And she'll direct you over to the coffee bar.
I'll get up and get some coffee. Be stuck here forever. I like to imagine it's the like paper cups, you know, the ones that you get at Starbucks.
Yeah, and it's like
the
it burns your
out-of-place-
hand too because like, the paper, it's so thin.
It's that weird, like, foamy material on the outside that's, like, super cheap. Feels bad.
Horrible to drink out of.
And it's within a couple of more, it is actually a couple of more moments, Eilif, that the teller will kind of wave you back over. Oh, miss, we transposed these 2 numbers. That's what happened. Very sorry about that. It was completely my fault. It was not her fault. You actually wrote like the 3 and it looked a little bit more like an 8. Yeah, so
I just keep it in my head for next time.
And she will slide you over a deposit slip. And on the deposit slip, you'll note the number of, it was the amount prior to the deposit, the amount, and then the amount after the deposit that is in the account. And you will know that, you'll note that the amount that is in the account had not changed from the last time that you were at the bank, nearly a month and a half, 2 months ago, the last time you had deposited a significant amount of money. You would normally not be concerned, but it had not changed a month and a half ago either, which would mean in the last 4 months there has been no withdrawals from the account.
Okay.
So,
Fuck.
yeah, there has been no withdrawals from the account, besides the ones that you may have made, just in case like you needed an extra pair of boots or something, but you've already accounted for that. So there's a lot of money in this account, and it has not been touched in 4 months.
Okay. I'll deposit probably half of what I was going to, so about is it like almost 100?
Okay. Just make sure you make note of that. Make sure you make note of how much is in the account and everything.
Yes. Yeah, because I'd be depositing like 92.
Okay.
And I will I'll ask the bank teller so they can just take from the account no matter where they are, correct?
Yes, as long as their name is on the account and they have the account number to verify.
Can I get the names on the account?
Of course.
Would
you like me to write those down or
Is there a lot of people in the bank? Or like close by?
You have been waiting probably for about 2 or 3 hours now, and no, there's not a lot anymore.
Okay, I'll just be like, yeah, it's fine. Just say it.
There is Thria Sanse, Thria Sanse, on the account.
Yeah.
And also a Dare Myremorn.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Am I the only one with access to the account to deposit?
No, anyone that is on the account with the account number will be able to both withdraw and deposit from the account.
Okay. Wonderful. Love that. Okay, well, in that case, where was the last place that money was pulled from it?
You give me 1 moment, and she will sort of go back into her earpiece to contact your main branch. It'll okay. And that was the last place. Right. Okay. Oh, I will let her know. Okay. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. The last place was in Dunbreak.
Okay. Yeah, I will just take the papers that she gives me and just right. I suppose that's all I need.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good rest of your day, you weird bank teller.
She blinks at you a little.
Are they always like this?
Mm-hmm.
Like 90% sure they're constructs, so I don't feel bad.
That or they're high as fuck the entire time.
Oh, I would be. Yeah, and I'll just leave and go back to the inn.
Okay. I know it is 12 o'clock. Jay, do you need to leave at this point?
No, I still have like 10 minutes before I actually have to leave.
Okay. So, Eilif, you're going to make your way back to the inn. And then we will jump back to Neck and Oleyna. What is it that you two are doing?
Do I know who is the lord of these lands? Is it Lord Aelin or?
So you would know that it is the Fairest family that rules Whitestead in particular. Whitestead is... but you are in a region called the Knoll. And let me pull up. I need to pull up something really quick to look. I have it written down, but I don't know where I wrote it down. So you would know that the Ferris family rules Whitewood. They are a house of half elves, and House Eliomera is it's one of the greater houses. They rule over the Knoll, the region in particular, but they are down in Turgarin, so they're not actually in this area.
Okay. This is kind of a far-fetched question, but would I have seen a signature by somebody from the Knoll, or from that family, from the Ferris family, at any point in my life?
I'm gonna say probably not, just because Solaris is so isolated from the rest of the country.
Right. Okay. That's okay. Oleyna has taken out her forgery kit, and she is currently writing a false document stating that all brothels must be inspected by an official inspector.
Roll me a either performance or sleight of hand for this to determine how good your forgery is.
Okay. Let me get a good d20. And I'm going to use an advantage. So let's do, I guess, performance. So 13 plus 8, so 21.
So I imagine that you've probably come across these type of documents before, given your extensive work in the Gilded Cage. Your madam probably also sort of allowed you to view these documents as well. You were kind of being groomed to almost take over her spot many years from now. But, you know, they like to start that work fairly early. So you are very privy to all of the ongoings and what goes into running a brothel, including the laws that a brothel has to abide by in order to stay in business. So writing up this document is absolutely no problem for you. And by the time you're done, this looks as official as if it came directly from the capital itself.
Wonderful. Oleyna's going to show this to Neck and slide it over to him and say, here's my idea. If you just come as my arms, you don't have to come into the brothel, but your presence at least. I'll call the madam out and then ask to speak with a couple of the girls to see exactly what issue is lying there.
Sounds and looks good.
Excellent.
He looks, he sighs, and he's like, if it'll make it easier and it's required, I'll go in if this gets done faster.
Yes. And if it's the afternoon, right?
Yeah, I would say it's probably, we're getting close to late afternoon, almost towards dinner time at this point.
Mm-hmm. If it makes you feel any better, Neck, this time of day, there's not going to be much work, so it's not like you're going to see anything that would compromise your morality.
Sounds good.
Excellent. I suppose I should tell Moss. Moss!
Yes, dear.
She's going to sort of just go over the information that she gained from the bartender and her plan.
Sounds like a good plan. Do you need a distraction?
I might. Perhaps if you just sort of hang about. Loom, if you will.
Oh, I'm great at looming.
Indeed.
Well, No time like the present, I guess.
Well, where's Eilif?
I haven't seen her since we got here.
She is under my employ.
Well, she seems to be more of a separated contractor at the moment. Your contract did leave a lot of room for ambiguity.
God damn it.
That God damn it, you did it, you son of a bitch. I'm not so much of a micromanager as I am. Just don't let me die, sort of person.
Well, that's the hope.
Right. All right. Well, let's find Eilif and see if she wants to join us in this, or if she has her own business to attend to while we're in town.
Okay. She has all sorts of little people everywhere. I don't know.
This might come in handy, actually.
That's kind of what I was thinking. If she has her red sashes or whatever everywhere.
Well, somebody at least who, if this is a problem in this brothel, somebody would need to take back over. We can't leave these girls without work, and we
Not
can't
proper
leave them-
protection.
Exactly, and we can't necessarily leave them with a madam that is less than up to par.
I follow your lead in these situations, you know that.
It's for the best. Is Eilif returning back to the tavern?
Yeah, she's going back to the tavern. To just kind of sit and drink for a bit.
I think Oleyna would seek her out then. Maybe stand outside and sort of look for her. She's just looking.
Where's
Where's she
Eilif?
at?
Yeah.
Where's Eilif?
I'm just gonna stare at you, just watching you look for me.
Do I have
Just
You don't say
no, I'm curious as to how you solve this problem.
I don't know. She's just looking around. She's checking the tavern. She's checking the streets.
I'm at the bar.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, then I didn't realize that you were already back. God. Okay. Well, then she'll go up to Eilif and say, "Eilif, darling, well, you might be interested in this. I'm going to go check in on the local brothel. I think that there might be something nefarious about that situation. Are you in?
Not tonight.
No. Oh. Well, what are you gonna do?
I don't know, but I have problems.
I see. Anything that you need assistance with, dear?
Not unless you can track someone.
No. Well, sort of, but no. All right. Well, before we set off, I suppose, do you have any contacts here that might be helpful in taking over a brothel? Anyone good and not evil? I don't know if this is an evil situation, but you know what I mean.
I know that they're not evil. Like the Circle of Brass. I know they're not evil. I know they're decent. At least as far as I'm concerned. Ugh. Yeah, I haven't seen any red, have I?
No, not here.
Okay. Yeah, I might know someone.
I will say,
He's-
once Elris and Karsus left, you've not seen them. And you're not sure where you would even begin to look for them here.
Yeah. Okay. I will I may have some people that could help. But I will warn, one of them is tricky. He will try to take your coin purse.
Oh, I don't want
Keep an
that.
eye on it.
No.
He's fine. It's more of like a personal pride thing than anything.
Hmm.
It's not for the money. It's more just because he knows he can do it. He'll give it back, but like,
All right. Well, if you see him, if you could send him my way while you're dealing with whatever it is that you're dealing with, that would be most helpful.
Yeah. I assume you're gonna deal with the brothel yourself?
Yes, I'm bringing Neck and Moss with me. I'm not.
Good
I don't
call.
do anything myself.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Yes, probably smart that you do.
I'll try to find them and give them information on what you need.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you, dear. And good luck.
Good luck to you too. I'll like look for like one of my daggers and like hand it to her and just, just in case.
Oh, okay. I have two of my own,
Never hurts to have a third.
I suppose. And I think that Oleyna would very quickly and like easily slip it into like amongst like the layers of like silk that she wears, and it's just gone.
Yeah, it just, you don't know where she put it, Eilif, but that dagger is
Somewhere.
It's gone.
a pocket dimension, maybe.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I paid for your rooms.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So it's going to be Moss, Oleyna, and Neck, correct?
Yes.
Oleyna, so as Eilif is going to go up and to her room, I assume, and sort of contemplate whatever it is that Eilif wants to contemplate. Oleyna, make me a perception check.
It's a 15 total.
Okay. As Eilif sort of, Eilif is kind of a hard person to read for you, Oleyna. There are moments where you can see a warmth inside of her, and then in that same moment, she will sort of take 2 feet back and keep you at an arm's distance. So she gets up from the bar and sort of hurries up the stairs after your conversation. And as you go, you're about to turn to walk out of the bar to go take care of whatever is going on at this brothel. And there is a piece of paper sitting right where Eilif had been sitting at the bar.
I am going to look at it and take it.
On the paper, there's some information on it. And that information is in Eilif's handwriting. The name, Eilif Myrmorn, and a series of numbers.
Would I recognize this as something from the bank?
So you would recognize it as something from the bank. Furthermore, you would recognize the name Myrmorn. It is one of the great noble families.
Uh-huh. I think Oleyna will, as discreetly as possible, tuck this away back into the pocket dimension of her robes. And might have an appointment at the bank suddenly.
Okay. And where are we going? Are we going to go to the brothel now?
Yep. Before we go to the brothel, I think Oleyna wants to slip up into her rooms and use her disguise kit.
Okay.
And she wants to disguise herself as like an official,
Okay.
inspector type person. So, not a
Not a prostitute. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anything but that.
Okay.
And then once she does that, she will go ahead and lead Neck and Moss Well, she would ask the bartender. Oh, she already told
You
where,
already-
she,
yeah.
where it is. Yeah. So she'll
So-
lead them to where she thinks it is.
We are going to cut to a quick break because I do have an ad, and Jay is going to depart us for the rest of the session. So everyone say bye, Jay.
Bye, Jay.
Bye,
Bye,
Jay.
Bye.
But we will
outta
be
here.
we'll be right back. I will.
Damn.
Goodbye. We'll be
Goodbye.
right back. I do have to pee, so we're gonna take a quick little potty break as well. And we will start back up with the interrogation of the madam of this brothel, I'm assuming. Be right back. I'm not going to give any context to what that was. So, hi guys,
Perfect.
we're back. So, we're going to a brothel.
Yep.
Oleyna, what do you look like now?
Oleyna has like I think she's not dressed super masculine, but she is dressed less Oleyna-y.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that she probably has like a fine shirt and trousers, boots, and she has a clipboard somehow. This is all in the disguise kit. Her hair is pulled back, it's out of her face, it's very neat and less, voluminous. And she's completely plain-faced, no makeup, nothing glamoury about her, and she has ditched all of her jewelry.
Okay. And Oleyna, you get a advantage from creature.
Next creature.
And your two companions, are you going to dictate to them how they should be dressed, or?
I think Moss is sort of hanging back, so she doesn't really matter about that. And then,
Nick.
what is Neck wearing?
He just has like kind of. It's just like regular armor. You can tell it's a little bit like nicer and pricier, but it's pretty much just like run of the mill mercenary armor.
I think she's happy with that. I think that as long as he doesn't have anything like major identifying symbols on him, then yeah, no, I think that's fine. But she will tell him, perhaps, I don't think this is really going to be much of a problem, Neck, but let me do all of the talking.
Started the plan.
Fabulous.
Okay, so you follow the little barmaid's instructions. You go about 2 streets over down an alleyway, and you will find the maiden's the maiden's room.
Mm-hmm.
It is about what you would expect given the description that she had given you. The sign is sort of like it's weathered and it's like hanging on by just like one hook. It's creaking as the wind blows. The front of the establishment has not been upkept at all. There is vines growing on it, and not in the way of that the Ladies' Embrace had vines growing on it, where it was very classy, it was very strategic in the way that looked. This looks like they just haven't like pruned the outside at all. The windows are dark, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not open. But they are dusty and dirty as well.
Okay. I think Oleyna will go to the door, the main door, and knock on it with the back of her hands. 3 good raps. And she'll stand there with her documents ready.
A woman will come to the door. She is a tall elven woman, blonde, brown eyes. Looks very severe. Like it's like her skin has been pulled up on her face, so it's very tight. A very severe looking woman. Yes. How may I help you?
Good afternoon. My name is Delilah Foxwood. And I am here on behalf of the Capitol to perform an inspection on your brothel here. And she's going to hand over the document to the woman. I wish to speak with the madam of the house.
That is me. She will take the clipboard. You could see like her eyes had widened when you said you were with the Capitol. She takes the clipboard and begins to inspect the... Everyone hydrate. She begins to inspect the documentation. Can you please roll me a performance check?
I'm gonna use an advantage.
Or performance or deception, depending on
Okay.
whatever's better.
I'm gonna go with performance, and it's a 14 on the die plus 8, so
Okay.
22.
Your performance, like the confidence at which you're speaking, I'm going to pretend that the pauses between coming up with the name weren't there.
Yes, please, thank you.
The confidence with which you're speaking and the authority that you speak with, you can see as she grabs this clipboard and inspects, there's like a little shake of her hand as she reads through the documentation, kind of flipping through everything. Well, we aren't quite ready for an inspection yet. If you could come back tomorrow.
No, I insist. Unfortunately, these inspections are random for such sake. You know, everybody should be ready and up to code for all inspections of brothels. And I would hate to give anybody an unfair advantage over the other. You would certainly understand.
She lets out a sigh and looks to the two that you have brought with you, especially looks up, neck up and down. Neck is a rather large man. And she will hand you back the clipboard and very silently, like, usher you in, like, step aside. You could tell it is quite begrudgingly, though.
Wonderful. Oleyna will step inside, and as she does so, she looks to the madam and she says, I will speak with two girls. I would like you to bring all of your girls down, and I will pick the two.
Of course. And she will, there's actually another, there's a man standing there. He looks rather, like, meek. You can tell he was, you didn't actually notice him at first when you walked in until she addressed him. He was kind of just standing very still, next to the little, what would it be, essentially be sort of akin to like a hostess stand in a restaurant. Jacob, please get the girls. And he will, yes, madam, yes, of course. You could tell like there's a fear and a quake in his voice as he hurries up the stairs to go get the girls as requested. As you take a look around, it is poorly kept. Dirty would be kind of the best way to describe it. A little bit of grime. There are, like, the tables seem to actually be almost broken. When you, like, look into, like, the sitting room area, the parlor room, quote-unquote parlor room of the bordello, it seems to have been, like, almost, like, taped up, with, like, nails and stuff coming out of it, as though someone had crudely tried to put everything back together. You can only imagine what the upstairs might look like. So, as you wait a couple of more moments and you hear sort of the light footsteps of several people above your head. The floorboards are quite thin here, and you can see several girls coming down with Jacob leading them.
Oleyna's gonna look over the girls, and what is their state? Do they look nourished? Do they look sickly?
No, they look quite malnourished. You could see, like, you know, like their collarbones and stuff are sticking out quite a bit. One is coughing into like a hanky. And the other ones just, they look tired, they look worn out. They are kind of scantily clad, like they seem to have just been getting ready for the night. So they are sort of in what they would normally be in while working. So sort of scantily clad, which makes it even worse because you can see like the malnourished state of them.
I think this is really important to note. If Neck were to look at Oleyna, I think that there would be the obvious tell signs of a very silent rage. And I mean rage in all of the word. She is extremely angry. And she looks at the madam and she tries to force a smile out and says, okay. This one, and she's gonna point to the youngest looking girl, and then this one, and she's gonna point to the oldest.
Okay. So there are about five girls in total. When they come down, you know, they're sort of kind of trying to cover themselves up a little bit more and everything. Roll me a perception check. And Moss and Neck, if you are also kind of keening in and be paying attention, you may also roll me a perception check as well.
Sweet.
It's a 16
Moss
total.
is paying attention, but he is somewhat further away.
Okay. So 16, you said?
22.
Yeah, I got a 16 total.
22.
6.
Okay. So I imagine Neck is very much trying to like avoid any sort of eye contact with the women. But both Oleyna and Moss, you would notice the light tap the madam gives of her cane. And as soon as she taps, the girls sort of straighten up a little bit, almost as if they were conditioned, almost on instinct of straightening up. And then she will beckon the two that you had indicated. Laura and Nora, come quickly. And the youngest, a little half-elf woman, could not be more than maybe 19 years old. Red hair, bright blue eyes, or they would be bright if they weren't so sunken into her face, is Cora. And Nora is a maybe some sort of Genasi? Maybe a mixture of two varying types. She would be incredibly beautiful, if not for the conditions currently. This is Nora.
She's gonna look at the madam and say, is there a private room that I can speak to you two girls while my friend here inspects the rest of the establishment? She's gonna look at Moss.
Of course. Jacob, please show them to the sitting room. And Jacob will nod meekly, and as you lead the two girls into the sitting room, she gives another 2 knocks of her cane, and you can see the two girls sort of shrink into themselves a little bit more as they follow. You're not sure. You know that there is something significant about the knocking of the cane, but you're not sure what it means. You just know that the girls are having an extreme reaction to it. And she will, the madam will sort of stand near the entranceway, and then sort of tell the other girls to sort of be gone. And the other girls will sort of skitter away, maybe back upstairs. You're not sure where. And Moss, you will be allowed to go upstairs to inspect.
Does Neck come with Oleyna, or does he go with Moss?
He'd go with Oleyna.
Okay. She's gonna look at Neck and very quietly say, if anybody comes in through that door, I need you to ensure they do not.
Sounds like a plan.
And then very gingerly, Oleyna will motion for the two girls to sit before she does, and she's going to sit directly across from them if possible.
Yeah, there's like two couches that sort of face each other.
Mhm.
You know, in a rather intimate setting. It is kind of where they would entertain guests anyway. The two girls sort of sit next to each other. Very, very, they shrink in on themselves as they kind of are under your gaze. And they are waiting for you to speak.
Before she speaks, Olenya is going to pull her handkerchief out, and using dove speak, she's going to wave a white kerchief, signaling that she is a safe person.
They see this and they sort of glance at each other, and very kind of nervously try to glance over their shoulder to see the proximity of the madam, who is, standing near the entranceway where she can't see into you guys. So you do have that privacy. But it's almost like they expected, like they're just like expecting her to be like right around the corner or right behind them.
I think Oleyna will just kind of come out with it. Ladies, when was your last meal?
We had some, and then they kind of like look at each other almost as though they're trying to gather strength from each other to like speak. Well, last night we had some porridge that had been left over.
And what is the state of your collars?
Well, we they pay us. Well, they pay the madam.
And what does the madam pay you in return? What is your percentage?
Well, she takes, and then it's Honora, the Genasi, who kind of cuts in. She takes most of it. I think we get about 10%, but then she will also charge us rent for staying here and for meals. So
I see. So on top of the percentage that she takes, the 90%, she also charges you for your rent here and your meals, and I'm assuming your clothes as well, right?
they nod.
I see. You can answer this as freely as you wish. Have we ever had to use... She's going to stop herself. She's not going to ask that. What is the current state of affairs? How many clients are you taking a night?
Well, we take as many as are here. The madam wants us to make sure that we make her enough profit to keep the doors open. So we are, whoever comes in, as long as they have coin, we are to service them.
And I see. You can see the rage building in her, and she's trying very careful to be calm in front of them. She doesn't want them to think that she's upset with them. So she's trying to simmer that. And she's going to look at Glora, the younger one. And what was your bid?
My bid?
Did you lose your maidenhood here?
Well, yes.
And what did you earn from the bid?
I don't know.
I see. And are there any improvements being done on the building?
No, the madam says that, that is foolish to put money into that when she's already paying so much for our upkeep and...
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay. Very good, girls. I certainly appreciate you taking this time to speak with me. If I were to perhaps ask you, if the madam was not the madam, and you were to pick somebody else, who would you like to see responsible for your care?
There's an attendant, Claudia. She's very good to us when she's allowed to be. And then they look over their shoulder again. It's hard it's just hard.
I understand. Absolutely. Where can I speak with this Claudia?
She might be coming in soon. She normally will come in an hour before we are to start the night, and she will set everyone up. And
now, girls, I don't intend to put you out of business, but what is happening here cannot continue. What I would like you to do is go back to your rooms, and I would like you to tell the other girls that there is a person here who has been doing this for quite some time and knows that whatever is happening here is stopping now. But be quiet about it. Don't let your madam know, otherwise I might not be able to get the help that I can.
There's a sort of... They look hesitant. They look hesitant to believe. It's almost like, they might have reached out for help at one point and maybe been turned away, or they've been treated like this for so long that they can't imagine a life where it might be better. And they're going to look at you and look at each other.
There are more of you than there are of her. Without you, there is no profit.
There's something that clicks in their head at that. And they nod slowly and very kind of meekly get up and make their way back up the stairs where the other girls had disappeared to. Moss, looking upstairs, you can see the state of things. It's dirty. There are sort of clothes strewn about, especially in where you would imagine the girls stay, and it's all in one room. All 5 of them seem to be... There's little cots around. There's about 5 cots that are strewn about the floor. A little wash bin in the corner that is probably the communal wash bin for them. It's you wouldn't even house a dog in this condition, let alone people.
Moss is just gonna kind of stand there and silently take it in. And from everything that Moss has seen so far, most of the times, because most of the brothels he's been in, he's been with Oleyna. So he knows kind of what it, at least to his knowledge, is supposed to look like. And he's just gonna kind of say to himself, she's gonna have a field day down there. And where all the, he tries to, because all the other girls had went up there with him, right?
Yes, the other 3 had gone upstairs.
Did the other guy come up here? The one that I can't remember the name. I apologize.
Jacob. He no, he had kind of led everyone to the Cora and Honora and Eilif and Oleyna and Neck to the sitting room. And then he had gone back to sort of stand near the madam. You imagine this is sort of like the madam's assistant, and not in loyalty, but rather just this is like he's afraid to go against her in any way.
So Moss, knowing that Oleyna's kind of got everything else in hand, he doesn't really need to press these ladies for information, just wants to make them smile for once. So he's just going to kind of pull out his lute and begin playing. Just kind of trying to raise the mood, raise morale, make them feel better.
Okay. Do you want to give me a little performance check for that?
Sure. 14.
Okay. One sec. So as you play like a jaunty little tune, the girls, you know, they're kind of busy getting ready. Their state of undress or lack of dress, like that doesn't matter to them. They're used to that, and I know that you're probably like you don't even kind of see it either. And there's almost this comfort in them, in your presence there, not just because of you plucking away on the lute, but in your attitude towards them, and they can kind of see that in the way that you know, you're not quite looking through them or in any kind of capacity where like you don't see them, but it's you're not viewing them as other people have, and that's as an object. And there's this sort of comfort that you are bringing, especially as you're kind of plucking away on the lute. And you sort of see like a little smile on one of the girls' face as she sort of sways, and she's like patting some powder onto her face. And as another girl is helping the third with her hair, you see her sort of murmuring, like, you know, kind of doing like a little murmur of lyrics under her breath, you know, just making up lyrics for this tune that you're playing. And you imagine this is the first sort of moment of comfort that these women have had in quite some time. And there's a sadness in you for that, but also a pride in that you are able to make someone feel that way with your music and your presence.
Moss will spend just however long it needs, even with the other ladies coming back in. He's not really gonna... He doesn't feel it's his place right now to have any encouraging words, so he's just gonna keep playing, just not causing them any further trauma at the moment. He just wants it to be a place of comfort right now.
Okay. Downstairs, what are we doing?
Is it just Oleyna and I currently in the room now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Neck will look at Oleyna and be like, do you want her to face justice?
She's gonna look at Neck for a moment and sort of leave a long, pregnant pause there. I don't know entirely what your scruples are. I'm sure you find this beneath you. But there is honest work to be done, and it's work that has done well for me. What is important, though, is a sense of dignity. And this madam, she calls herself, has stripped these girls of that. There's very little that upsets me in the world, Nick. This is it.
Will we agree on something?
Certainly.
Right. Do you want her to face justice?
I'm not sure if harming her physically is really the choice here.
Neck will like look at you and be like, "It's not about harm. Do you want her to face justice?"
More than anything in this moment.
I will bring her in, and I'll step out and kind of try and signal her to come into this room.
The madam will. She'll kind of quickly make her way to you. Everything in order then.
Come in.
Of course, and she'll kind of walk closer to you.
I'll like. There's a door, correct? Like.
Mhm.
I'll close it, and I look at Oleyna one last time, and I'm like, "We have to make it to Dunbrig much quicker after this." And
I
he'll
agree.
pull out like a medallion.
So you pull out this medallion, Neck. Oleyna, you instantly recognize the insignia that is on this medallion. This is a medallion that has the crest of Diaga family. That is the royal family on it. And you look to Neck, and his demeanor makes a little bit more sense to you now. And you know that he is not a member of the Diaga family. This is denoting he in some capacity works for them.
And I look at the maiden. I'm like, I will be bringing you to Dunbrig.
What?
And
What?
and
What?
as he takes her cane and snaps it in half and throws it on the floor and be like, Oleyna, I believe that you will be talking to Clarice and can handle it from here.
Claudia, but yes.
Or Claudia.
When you
Yes.
snap her the cane, you will note that there was a blade hidden in it.
And he's like, are you going to be fine with me walking you to our caravan? Or do I need to restrain you?
She is flabbergasted by this. She's trying to she's tripping over her words. You cannot simply arrest me. I've done nothing wrong.
Give me a reason to restrain you, please. As he looks down at her.
I think Oleyna will take a step next to her, opposite of Neck. And in her eyes, I think Oleyna has newfound respect for you. She doesn't just find you as something to pick at. Madam, the conditions in which you house these girls are not only despicable, but disgraceful and undignified.
They are my girls, though. They are mine to do what I will with.
They are their own. And that makes you the worst madam I have ever seen. I am sorry to tell you, but perhaps you should have taken more lessons from women like Madame Pretoria of the Gilded Cage.
She recognizes that name, and there's a rage bubbling in her. And she goes to lunge out at you, Oleyna.
Headlock.
Please roll me a dex.
Yeah. Me or
Neck.
Okay.
My favorite part is headlock.
Headlock.
I'm gonna use some advantages or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and it's just a straight dex check.
Yep, just do a dex check.
Then 14.
That is more than enough. She's unarmed and fucking fragile herself. She got bird bones. You headlock her, and she is kind of like scratching and clawing at you. What do you do?
Hog tie her with the rope that I have.
You manage to wrestle her down onto the floor. Not manage, you do it kind of with ease, and you tie her up. And Neck, at this point, you know if you are going to have someone tied up and escorting them to Dunbrig, you're going to have to reveal to a lot of people who you are and what you are.
Yeah, he's slightly like panicked about that, and as he's hog tying her, he's like shit.
I think would this like kind of like play across his face, this panic?
Yeah, a bit. He tries his best to suppress it, but it does come through a bit of like, fuck, I don't want to. He was obviously hiding all of this, so for it to come out, he's like, fuck.
It's a horrible thing, Neck, that this wanted criminal was hiding here and attacked me, and that her bounty is for Dunbrig. And she has her forgery kit on hand. You know this.
He looks at her and he's like, no. You will document the conditions that they were living in. She will face trial for what she did, not anything else. And then he will like look at you. He's like there's like a bit of like, but really we need to like get going after this. Like,
Of course. We'll get there as quickly as possible. I need to deal with this setting up house, and then we can go as soon as the caravan is ready.
Almost as if you like, as soon as you say that, you hear the door open to the front of the brothel. Jacob, what's going on? And you hear like an unfamiliar voice questioning the Jacob, who has kind of just been like meekly standing there, hearing the commotion, but not going to check it out because why would he at this point? You know what I mean?
the old that's above my pay grade move.
Yup.
I think hearing this, Oleyna would pop out of the parlor of the sitting area.
Oh, hello. You are?
Are you? Don't worry about me, but are you Claudia by chance?
Oh, yes. Has something happened?
Yes, you've earned yourself a brothel, darling.
What about the madam?
I'm looking at her. Now,
Oh.
I can trust that the care of these girls is in good hands now, and that all of this will change immediately.
There's like, it's like, this is a lot. She walked in expecting like a shift, like as per usual. And now she's being told that she now owns the brothel. Are the girls okay?
The girls are fine.
And she'll kind of look past you and see the former madam hogtied on the ground. Should I ask about that, or should I just pretend it's not happening?
I would say just pretend it's not happening.
Okay.
Do the girls like the food from the tavern up the road?
Oh, I mean, I've brought them some leftovers occasionally. They seem to enjoy. I mean, anything would be better than what they currently eat. So.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Olenya's gonna look at Neck and ask, "Do you have this? Can I run a quick errand?"
Yeah. Again, make sure you document everything.
I will. She's gonna look at Neck for a moment and say, "If there is a moment for greatness for me in the web that I spin, this is it." And she'll call up to Moss upstairs and tell him that she is going to the tavern.
Moss will kind of stop playing, stand up, and kind of walk to the door. If it's closed, he'll open it. Understood. I'm just offering some entertainment. Do you need assistance?
No, keep doing what you're doing for as long as you wish to do it for. Although, I would love assistance.
All right. And Moss will just kind of open the door and walk down. As he's walking down, you'll see him putting his loot away. And yes, how can I help?
That man you were speaking to at the tavern was a bard, yes? He seemed to enjoy your music.
He was a bard. He used to know my mother.
Would he like a job?
He did say he wasn't making a whole lot, making ends meet. I can definitely find out.
I think a good brothel always has a good bard, wouldn't you say?
I think it's paramount.
Excellent. Then come with me. While Neck deals with whatever it is that Neck is going to deal with. Don't worry about it. Don't ask any questions.
Do I ever ask questions? Just kind of jokingly. And is the ladies are okay there?
They'll be fine. And
Okay.
she's going to look at Claudia. Right?
Claudia she's sort of started to, if my camera goes awry, it's because Artie is fucking shit up in front of me. So Claudia, she's gone, there is like a little like sign on the front of the brothel sort of signifying open and closed. She turns the sign to closed. If they're going to resume business, it's not going to be tonight. And she's going to, oh my god, this fucking cat, dude.
Waiting to see her like body slam you.
Fucking maniac. She goes and she turns it to closed, and she's sort of, Jacob, if you could go get the documents that are in Madam's my desk. She's very quickly acclimating to this. And she said, we're going to need to get in contact with a contractor and probably a landscaper. The outside is fucking atrocious. And then we need to get the girls fed, and we need to work out. We need to have them sign proper contracts for their terms and agreements of working here, of the employment. So we'll definitely need some sort of lawyer. Jacob, are you writing this down? And Jacob's like, yes, So you can see that this is Claudia, as frantic as she is fucking, she's on top of it.
Outstanding. Then Oleyna is quite confident that the girls are in good hands. And you'll see her kind of smiling, not the smug, leering look that she gives, but just genuinely smiling. She's quite happy.
And I think the rest of the night will consist of you kind of ferrying food back and forth to the girls, sort of getting them set up.
I think that she would put down. I think she would ask the barmaid how much would it be for a week's worth of food for, what was it, 6 girls?
Mm-hmm.
For
5.
5
well,
girls.
plus Claudia and Jacob. So
like 7.
Hmm.
For 7 people.
Well, what's it for? Is it for like a special event?
No, just easy meals.
Oh, where is it going to be delivered to?
The maiden's room. It's under new employee.
Oh, she like kind of writes down some quick math. Would that be like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or just dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
No, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes.
Okay. She was just gonna go with whatever, and hope it didn't make you mad. Well, it's gonna only be 10 gold.
Okay. What about if I give you 50 gold, and that's 5 weeks worth?
Oh, okay. I can mark that down,
Excellent.
and we'll have it like delivered and everything. Is that okay?
That's wonderful. That is actually ideal.
Okay. 5 weeks, and she
Oh.
like writes down the date, and then she says the end date. And then she'll actually like slide the little like receipt over to you to have like your signature of approval.
And she'll sign it. And she'll sign it with her real name, with her real last name.
Okay. She
and then-
thank you, Miss Oleyna.
You're quite welcome, dear. And she'll drop the 50 gold. Quite happily.
So you have that set up.
While she's doing that, Moth would have approached, if he's still there, Clay from earlier.
Yeah, he's sort of he's kind of perched. He's got like an ale that he's been sipping on. He clearly just like there's like some like entertainers that'll come up, some bards that'll come and go, and he's think of him as like Simon Cowell. He is a fucking Tyrfian idol over here.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
I have-
Oh, hi.
I have a proposition, if you would like.
Business?
Absolutely. It seems the Maiden's Hand, I apologize,
Maiden's room.
Maiden's Room is now under new ownership.
You see
New
like the
management,
scowl,
if you
like
will.
there's like like when you mentioned the Maiden's room, and then he hears new ownership, and he leans in a little further, like, tell me more.
I'm fairly certain, and as soon as Oleyna, like, if he looks over and sees that she's done, he'll kind of see if he can get her attention to come over as well.
I shall do so.
The new ownership would probably be very interested in having a man of your talents keep clientele content while they await for services. I will defer payment information to my esteemed friend here. She would have much more information about that, but I thought you might like a chance at the opportunity.
He kind of like, he's contemplating it. He's ruminating. It's cooking.
Let him cook.
Let him cook. And he kind of nods. He's like, well, I guess we'll see how the pay is, and then I'll definitely give you a final answer. What's the business plan like for this new place?
Oh, it will be exotic and extravagant, I have no doubt. And I think by this point, Oleyna's probably changed back into her normal clothes.
Mm-hmm.
See, I am a woman of great taste when it comes to brothels, having been working in one for so long, and now I'm a kept woman. She'll sort of flash her contract with Lord Leyland.
Yeah.
So I would say that I am an authority on the matter. Now, exactly how much dear Madame Claudia will be able to pay you, that might be a slow building situation since, there's a reputation to fix. However, the girls are cute, the girls are willing to work, so money will be made, and of course, tips are always welcome for bards, I would imagine. And it is steady work.
Steady work is what gets him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right. I mean, we'll do like a little trial period. I think a trial period would be nice.
Absolutely. I highly suggest you speak with Madame Claudia. Just don't be afraid of what you see there. That's being fixed. The previous madam was less than ideal.
And what have we done with the previous madam at this point?
Moss honestly doesn't know.
Neck?
Myriad doesn't know either.
I've been thinking this whole time, okay, man?
You got her hogtied. What are we doing with her?
I'm debating between just like spending the night in the brothel with her just hogtied or putting her on the caravan. Because I assume we're staying here still.
So
it's like...
you would know, Neck. All of the towns in Tirfian all have their own private guards that are contracted out through the noble families. So the Ferris family, who rules over Whitewood, has their own guards. And these guards are a step below, not quite a step, a few steps below your position. So if you were to go and ask the guards to have her locked up and present your credentials to them and let them know that you are going to be escorting her to Dunbreak, they will likely allow that. They will likely put her into a cell for the night or 2 nights, however long you need her to be there.
Okay, then I will go, and can you hold her overnight? And I'll get her probably first thing in the morning.
Yeah, one of the guards is like, he's kind of looking at her and he's like, Madam Theridus? Like he probably was one of the ones that like frequented the brothel at one point. And he looks at like the badge that you had shown, and he's like, yeah, we could hold her for the night. Whatever you say, bud.
This guy's stoned as hell.
Okay. And then he'll go back to the bar.
Anything else anyone would like to do before we rest for the night?
I think Neck drinks, right? Yeah. I think Oleyna at this point would probably be sitting up at the bar and would order Neck a drink and sit next to him. And very quietly, she would say into her own drink, I understand your desire for secrecy, and please know that this has been a great help, and it does not go unnoticed.
He'll like take a minute and then look and just be like, it's worth revealing it when laws are being broken. But the importance of remaining hidden were severe. I will not let my mission fail so close to the end point.
Well, if there's anything I can do to aid you in that, I owe you a great deal.
He will, at this point, kind of whip his like backpack around, and he'll pull out one of his yikulas, and he'll hand her one.
However that word's pronounced.
Yeah, and he'll hand you one and be like, it's a bit better than a dagger. Maybe get some practice with it. I've seen the way you are in combat. You are very skilled, but maybe something better than a dagger.
She's gonna sort of hold it and look up to him and look back at it, and she wants to like give some sort of like snide remark, but she withholds it and says just a quiet thank you. And I will say, in the back of her mind, she is remembering what she's done, the pact that has been made, and sort of keeps that to herself, though.
Okay.
Are Sam and Jet in the bar?
I imagine so. Yeah, most of the caravan is going to be staying in the inn, so.
Neck will finish the drink once the like kind of conversation is concluded with Oleyna. And as he's still in his backpack, he'll have pulled out another one, and he'll like unclasp his whip from his hip,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll set the two down in front of Sam.
Sam's like regarding you, like, what the fuck are you doing? Kind of look.
And he's just like, I apologize for disarming you in our spar. I hope these can make amends. You are a worthy partner to train against.
He grabs them and inspects them for a short moment before gives a little of approval, and then he holds out his hand to you for you to shake.
I shake it.
Okay.
And so, just to be clear, so far I've only had to like present myself in front of Oleyna and then like the town guards.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he'll go to his room after that.
Before you go to your room, the little barmaid behind the bar. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Did she say your name was Neck?
Yeah.
Neck Sitnamor?
Yep.
Oh, and she's kind of digging behind the bar. Here, this letter has been here for you for probably a week or so now. They must have knew that you were going to be stopping through. And she's going to hand you a sealed letter.
Who's it from?
You do not know.
I will immediately open it.
So you open the letter and it says, Dear Neck, I hope you are well. The healers say my progress has been extraordinary, beyond anything they could have hoped. It gives me hope for what it means for our future once I have been rid of this sickness. The children are well and miss you terribly, as do I. I hope to see you again soon. Love, Anesti.
He's like fighting back, crying right now.
Neck, I need you to give me an insight check.
Oleyna's looking at him like, are you gonna cry?
Are you crying right now, dude?
Nat 20 for 24.
No, he isn't.
You have gotten many and many letters from your wife. This letter is different than the ones that you've received from Anesti in the past. The handwriting is more or less the same. You know your wife's handwriting tends to vary day by day, depending on the amount of pain she might be in, depending on if she's able to hold a quill or a pen, just so. You've received letters from her that are so finely penned they might belong in an archive somewhere, and you've also received letters from her that are scrawled in a messy hand. This seems to be her handwriting, and she's indicated that she's feeling better and better as of recently, so the neat penmanship isn't unusual. But there's something odd about the way the B in beyond swirls into the E, and the little loops on the S's are all wrong. Give me another insight check.
$13.
Okay. Well, you also got a nat 20 before, so as you scan over the letter again and again, there's something that doesn't quite sit well with you. Anesti has only ever started her letters to you as dearest. She's never said dear neck, not once, not in any of the letters that you can remember that she's written to you. And she's never signed off love either. The brief mentions of your children also strikes you as weird. Anesti, in all of her letters to you, has prattled on and on about the children. Paragraphs upon paragraphs, for just them to be relegated to a mere sentence is odd.
Tears are like forming in his eyes. And just with like a I don't know what to do, he like looks at Oleyna and he's like, either we or I have to go to Dunbrig now.
I think in a rare moment of seriousness from Oleyna, this whole situation has been a series of weird moments of seriousness from her. She'll give a nod and stand. We go then. Moss,
Yes.
things have changed. We're going now.
All right. Should someone wake Eilif?
Yes, I will go wake Eilif. And Oleyna will go and do that.
Okay.
Moss standing beside Neck will kind of look at him. Everything all right?
I really hope so.
The answer confuses Moss more than offers any clarity, but he can sense at this moment it's not a time to push. Well, we'll do whatever we need to do.
And he'll like take 1 second and then he'll like sober himself up. And like he'll kind of like look in like Sam's direction, hoping to like make eye contact.
He looks at you. He knows when someone's looking at him.
And Neck will like stand up and just announce and be like, Caravan, we are heading out now. I apologize, but we will be heading out. If you want to join, we are going now. If you want to stay,
Jet and Som both nod. They will ride with you. However, Moxie, who's sitting at the bar, she says, sorry, we're still waiting on a supply drop for tomorrow morning. We can't leave quite yet. You can go talk to the stable master if you need some horses and a wagon.
I think Oleyna would easily bankroll horses.
Okay.
And once she comes down, and I would imagine she's hearing this as she's coming down, she will just sort of sigh. And about how much does Oleyna know how much it would be to either buy or rent horses?
I know we had discussed it. It's you definitely have the money for it. I'll let you know the exact amount after.
Okay, Oleyna will just do it. She'll just sigh and start reaching for her coin purse.
Okay.
And then Neck we'll go get the prisoner.
The prisoner.
The guard is like, oh, it's, she was saying the night.
Things
I'll
change.
open the cell. I'll open the cell for you. Don't worry. He goes and like opens the cell, and I imagine you kind of pick her up like a suitcase, hogtied, and carry her.
Pretty much.
So purchasing a wagon and some horses, 2 horses. I don't imagine that you'll need individual horses. I think everyone can probably ride in a wagon themselves. That is very easy. The stable seems to be sort of open kind of 24/7. They're kind of always accepting new people in and kind of ushering people out at all times of day. As I said, Jet and Som will come with you because they had their own horses, and Jet seems to be eager to get to the capital anyway. So stopping and all of this stopping and waiting seems to have been grating on him. So he's eager to get back to Dunbrig. So you do have those 2 additional people with you. You kind of wake Eilif. Eilif probably had been, kind of sleeping, and she a little confused, but she's also not mad about getting to Dunbrig sooner rather than later. So she will also join you, obviously. And you guys set off into the night with your new wagon and horses. And you know that it is a 5-day journey ahead of you to Dunbrig. And as you are... Moss, are you in the back of the wagon?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As you are in the back of the wagon, you hear a very familiar sound, the sound of mechanical wings flapping together. And before you realize which direction it's coming from, you a swoosh just and a little tiny mechanical bird just lands in a heap at your feet once more, very reminiscent of a few days ago in the boat. It stands up. It kind of very odd in the way that it kind of ruffles itself, almost as though it's a real bird, but it has no actual feathers to ruffle. So it's a very odd thing to watch. And it looks at you, its eyes unblinking. Recipient identified! The familiar robotic voice states. My son, my dearest son, listen closely, for time continues to slip away. She's gone, but she's not truly, not yet. They've taken her like they've taken others. So many others, but no one believes me. And the threads are loosening, soon to be lost forever, just like her. If she is not here, then she must be in the in-between. A place we should not go to, but a place we must venture to. And the message from your father trails off. You can still hear his faint murmurings to himself for a few seconds longer before the little bird shuts its mouth, staring up at you, unblinking. Recipient, please acknowledge receipt of message.
Moss is going to look at the bird and say acknowledged and then try to catch it.
Give me a little dex saving throw. Actually, you give me a dex check. Just a normal check.
Okay. Can I use one of my advantages?
Yes.
14.
Okay. Actually gonna roll with disadvantage for this little guy. Okay. So as it begins to, you hear the gears start to whir again as it begins to try to take off. And just as it's leaving the wagon, it's letting the wind sort of caress it up into the air. You snatch onto the one remaining leg that it has, and you yank it back down.
I just want to inspect it, look at it.
It's very eerie because it's staring at you as you're sort of inspecting it every which way. You could, like, every time you kind of like you could catch glance at its eyes, and it's like very weird because it almost seems sentient, but you know it's just a little mechanical bird. It's kind of off-putting. And you kind of flip it each which way, and then on its little tummy is the insignia of your father. The little brand that he gave to every single one of his inventions, including the little compass that you have as well, that marks his creations.
And this is no doubt the same bird that it was the last time.
Yep, you know, because the leg is missing.
I'm gonna let it go.
It sort of reorients itself, and then you hear the flapping of the wings, and it whoof, and you see it disappear off into the distance, coming from the exact same direction that it came from last time.
Moss is gonna kind of look around, see if anybody's paying too much attention. I'm sure they are, but... And then he's gonna go kind of into a corner of the wagon somewhere and just kind of fold down and contemplate.
Okay. Would anyone else like to do anything?
No, I think Oleyna's just sort of. I think who's driving the cart.
I imagine Neck probably is.
I think she'd go sit with Neck and sort of just watch as the road passes them by.
You would note that the rain seems to have stopped. It had been raining for nearly 5 days, and as you look up into the sky, you can see the stars are clear, but not a cloud to be seen. And you want to feel some sort of comfort, but the mannerism in which Neck was frantic to get to Dunbrig, as well as hearing the little message from who you presume is Moss's father, there is this deep sense of dread that fills you as the voice of your patron lingers in your mind. And that's where we're going to end today's session. And I know we're a little early, but I want to wait for Jay to be here once we encounter Dunbrig. So, yeah! Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If y'all want to do a quick little outro for yourselves, we'll start with Mournian.
I am Mournian. I play Moss. I don't really stream anymore. Thank you.
Joel?
It's your boy Neck. His heart's getting crushed. He's not crushing spines.
It'd be like that. Bones?
Hi, I'm Little Bones 309. I'm an indie gamer. That's all I do over here on Twitch, is play indie games, and around the web I play TTRPGs with all my friends. And tonight it's AAA Saturday, so we're probably gonna play Baldur's Gate. I don't know, maybe we'll start a new playthrough. Who's to say? We can get crazy.
Another
Crazy.
playthrough.
Just more reasons to romance Asterion.
Adult Stuart Griffin.
And shut up. And thank you for that follow. Hi guys, I'm Myriad, or Miri. If you've been here, this is where you should be, because we do a whole lot of stuff on this channel. We play a whole lot of games. We're currently running through a Mass Effect playthrough, and we do play Baldur's Gate 3 occasionally here on this channel as well, and we do D&D and all sorts of D&D stuff. You can catch us next Saturday here at 11 a.m. Pacific for session 5 of All We've Lost, where it's gonna be a lot. So I hope my players are ready, because it's gonna be a lot. Can't wait for that. Anyway, we are gonna go raid on over into Air in My Laundry. They are playing Call of the Sea, which was one of the first games I actually streamed when I started streaming. So that's very nostalgic for me. So we're going to go right on over into them. Make sure to show them some love. And thank you guys for hanging out. I will catch y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.